Good afternoon out there, shopkeeper and do-it-yourselfers, fabricators all over YouTube land. This trailer, I use it quite a bit, and I wanted to put an odometer on it, and I got another one, and I guess I didn't really know that they had different meters that you could buy. I know there's different brands and whatnot. They're different shapes and sizes, but they're all basically the same principle. And I knew that I was going to have to come up with the formula. I just figured I'd get on the interstate and drive at 100 miles or so and get out and recheck the meter and see what my reading on it was, and then come up with the formula. So I know I traveled 100 miles. If that says it only registered 90 miles, then I know that it's 90% accurate. So I would have to multiply my mileage that I've used by 110%, and that would give me a pretty accurate reading. So if I wanted to know how far I went or how long it's been since I serviced the wheel bearings or something, I would take the mileage, subtract from the previous service, and then take that balance and multiply it times 110%, and I would have the actual miles that the trailer has been on the road, not the truck, but the trailer. And well, the other meter I had, this is it, Trailer Life. I don't it's made by the same Vita root. It's made by the same people. I don't know that this one had a part number on it, but it was working. I mean, I got it brand new. It tallied up to 19,072 or 19,012 miles, but it was only like 30% accurate. And I secured it obviously into one of the wheel hubcaps, and I'd run a bead of some pretty good RTV rubber silicone, and then set the meter down in it, and then put a bunch of sealer in here and let it cure up. And the guy said, well, you can't do that. Well, this is driven by the wheel, so it was spinning. I mean, it doesn't slip. It's actually pinched between the wheel and the hub, you know, so why wouldn't that work? Well, the meter was actually faulty. And I started looking for another one, and I came up with the knowledge that they had different meters that had RPM on them, and that's not revolutions per minute like your engine runs 700 RPM per minute at idle. This one is 624. I think it says RP. I can't see what that. There's three initials, but I think it just says per. It says 624 RPM per mile. So what you have to do is you have to determine how many times this tire is going to make one revolution and equal a mile. So what I did was took a yellow chalk, tire chalk, and just put a mark on my tire. And I had the trailer jacked up, and I used this thing on the tire. I set it at the mark, and I put it in the center, which is the highest part of the tire. I put it in the center and made sure I zeroed out the meter. Now, this doesn't measure in inches, it measures in feet. So you have to know what, so that's 0 feet, 0 inches. And then I rotated the tire. I just spun the tire holding that wheel up here on the mark in the center. Spun that wheel, and every time I went ahead and spun it 10 times. So it went around 10 revolutions. That way, if I had any error, it was reduced, and I had a comparative reading for 10 RPM. And then I divided it by 10. So I had, I don't remember how many, feet or inches. I think it was like 96 inches was the circumference of the tire. But trying to do it with a tape measure, it gets crinkly and it's slipping and whatnot. So that's the reason why, if you use a tape measure or whatever, measure around it, 3 or 4 times and take your average reading, and you're going to be pretty accurate. But it worked out that this tire had to rotate, I think it was 627 or 628 complete revolutions to equal a mile, and a mile is 5,280 feet. So I took 5,280 feet, and then I divided it by whatever this reading was. I can't do it in my head right quick because this is in feet. I don't remember, but anyway, it come up with 629 or something. Well, they don't make these for every single size tire, but 620, I can't read what that, 624 revolution or RPM is what this meter is. And I'm only off by about 1.5%. So this is 98.5% accurate. I just put it on the other day, and I've already amassed 344.8 miles on it, and that is really handy. However, this meter is bigger than this one. The diameter is probably about the same, but it was thicker, and then you got a bolt that's sticking out in the back side of it. You can't really see it, but that's a bolt right there where it would mount to a bracket. So your hub has got a grease cap sticking out there, and with that grease cap and this and that bolt sticking in there, you don't have enough room to set even this one to put this on and mount the wheel, and between that and your grease cap, you don't have enough clearance. So I had to take a grease cap and smash it, just so that it just did clear the spindle. And well, this one was even taller than this one, so I couldn't do that. So you see, I went around there with a marker, and then I took a die grinder and cut lines, little ticks all the way around. So I just had like maybe an 1/8 inch between cuts, and then I used a seal driver that was about the same size and centered it on there and pushed it in. So I folded in those fingers like the teeth on a comb. I folded them in, and so it stayed pretty snug. There's actually one of them that didn't manage to get folded in. That needs to be broke off. That'll cut a finger wide open. But anyway, I did make a bracket that went from one lug nut to the opposite. So it goes in like this, and up and across and back and in. Now, when you do that, you need to make sure that your bracket, that your material is thin. It didn't have to be very strong, because it's pretty well secured into this cap. I could have probably took some RTV silicone and ran a bead around here and then done the same thing on the inside as I did here to seal and adhere the meter to this hub. And in fact, I might do that. Take this wheel back off and take that bracket off. But because that bracket went between the wheel and the hub, then there's, what is it? Maybe it was, okay, this is what I used for my bracket. And it's 3/8. No, I didn't. I didn't use that. For crying out loud, I used this. It's sheet metal off of a auto body panel repair I did. And what is the thickness of it? Getting down pretty thin. Looks like about 8.5 thousandths of an inch, 8.4 thousandths. So it wasn't very thick at all. But still, I might do that RTV deal. That's just not very thick stuff at all. But anyway, that worked out fine. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Share, like, and subscribe. Comment if you will.